Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US of A, and I'm here to bring you a special live paper crafting class. We're going to have fun because we are doing a blog hop today. All the other demonstrators in my All-Star Creatives group are connecting our blogs together today at 3 p.m. Central Time, and we're going to share with you lots of ideas that we have created with the Marbled Elegance Suite of products. Now, we already have a whole bunch of ideas that we've created with it in our exclusive video class tutorial. So it's a bundle that you can purchase or you can earn if you order from us, that sort of thing. But we like to create, so we made a second set of projects and we're sharing those publicly on our blogs today. And I've connected my live online paper crafting class to that blog post so that you can get a little class while we share these fun projects. This is a very unique project, actually. I basically was playing around with the bags. So there's some bags that come with this suite, and there's a small set of bags and there's a large set of bags. And I took the large ones and I'm like, well, what if I cut these? Ooh, I think I can make a fun fold card out of them. So I created a fun fold card from the larger bag and then made a coordinating little treat bag to go with that card. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you today. Today is January 8th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. And it's so fun to read your comments as we're coming in live. Lots going on around the world. There's different weather everywhere. Some things going on in Los Angeles, it looks like. I guess I haven't been watching the news, so I'll have to check in on that. But I hope that you are all safe and healthy where you're at, and we are going to begin. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to those of you that have been coming to my live videos time and time again. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for being new to my channel. If you're going to stick around for a while, I appreciate that. You're going to check it out and see how we do and see what sort of things I can create for you. I also want to welcome, and I believe, I haven't seen her name pop up yet, but I believe Trisha and Lisa are here with us for this live. I hope so. I think I told them to come today. I don't know. We just got done with the holidays, right? It's January 8th. So if they're not, oh, there's Lisa. Okay. If Trisha does not chime in, it could be that something delayed her, but we will try to catch any questions at the end if I don't see her post or her comments come through as we're doing this. Okay. All right. So who is Lisa? Who is Trisha? They are my moderators. They're here to help out. They're here weekly on my Wednesday lives and sometimes on my Friday or Saturday lives. And they're just here to chime in and answer questions that you may have, because if I were to pay attention to all the questions during the live or all the comments during the live, I would not be able to focus on what I'm sharing today. So anyways, all right, what else do I want to tell you? I told you that the vlog would go live at 3 p.m., not 12:15 like normal. So you'll want to wait a few hours, but when that blog post goes live, you can click on the link that's currently in the description of the YouTube video, and I will transfer that over to the description of the Facebook video after the lives have finished, so that you can click on that and you can see photos, you can see measurements, you can access a PDF that I'm going to share with you here that has all the basic information in it so that you can find what you need to create these projects. So let's go to that PDF right now. Oh, also a big welcome to our channel members. We have channel members. It's a new thing on my YouTube channel where you can become a member and you get special little perks. So big welcome to all of our channel members. Here is the PDF that you'll be able to print off. You can certainly take a screenshot of it now if you'd like to, but you do not need to. You can also access this again at my blog at stampyourartout.com at 3 p.m. today on January 8th, 2025, or beyond that. So we have the measurements in there. We have photos of the projects. We have the name of the project. We have the date, and we have a supply list. And all the supplies, by the way, if you keep them on your device, they are clickable so that you can shop directly from that PDF. So it's hard to see the photos. They're kind of small, but let's go through and create. Let's create today, all right? So I'm going to start by showing you the suite of products. The suite of products can be found in the online store. It's an online exclusive, which means it's not in any publication. This is the Marbled Elegance Suite. It contains a few different products. Now, you don't have to buy them all at once. You can buy bits and pieces, but when you buy them all at once, it's only one order number, so it's a lot quicker. The Hearts of Elegance stamp set, which coordinates with the Hearts of Elegance dies. The dies do not come on these magnetic sheets and in these envelopes. I get these from Stampin' Storage. You can find those in my favorite extras if you are interested in shopping things outside of Stampin' Up that I use. But you can see there's lots of different hearts here. There's a few dies that will coordinate with the imagery, like a frame type die, and then we have lots of sentiments. We're going to be using both the stamps and the dies. I'll just set them aside over here. As far as embellishments go, we have a couple of them, and I've used up a lot of these. These are the flat, they're not flat in the name, but adhesive back heart sequins, and they're very low profile, which means it makes mailing your cards affordable. We also have some twine. It's like a, what is it? It's a twisted thread. So they call it a twisted thread. It has kind of a braided look to it. And we won't be using that, although you could certainly add that to your projects, but we'll be using a few of these. These are the bags that I told you about. This is what our project is basically focused around. And you know, you get the large and the small. I think you get 10 of each, I want to say. Oh, you get 8 of each, so 16 total. So can you imagine sending your kid off to school with treats and, you know, 8 of the kids get small amount and 8 of the kids get a large amount. So I was like, that's unfair. We need to do something with these larger bags. So what you would do then is buy a couple packets and you could make a card and a little treat bag. It might take a while to make, you know, 25, 30 treats for a classroom of kids, but if you are giving Valentine's away or just a little fun card and treat bag away for any occasion, you could use different paper if you don't want to use the Marbled Elegance or whatever. But if you're doing that, then these will make really, really special gifts. So we'll be using those. I'm just going to keep those here for now. Okay, and then the paper. The paper is always like the amazing, the queen, the king, whatever you want to call it, of the suite, right? We just love, love, love pattern paper. So this pattern paper has various colors that are highlighted in it. Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Petal Pink, Poppy Parade, Real Red, Gold, and there's a few others that I found in there too. Like I can see, oh, what color? Fresh Freesia, I could see that in there. Did they mention Pretty in Pink? Petal Pink. They mentioned Petal Pink, but I also see Pretty in Pink. So if you look closely at a lot of designer papers, you can pick out other colors that aren't necessarily listed all the time. But this is the beautiful foiled A side of the paper, right? You get lots of pinks and reds in there, lots of swirly whirlies. And then, and you can see I've used up almost all of these because I only have a few sheets of them left. Then this is the B side, or the not so in your face kind of paper. So you have your pinks or Melon Mambo, you have your Real Red, and then you have your Cherry Cobbler type of designs. We are going to be creating with this one. Because, I mean, if I didn't use it all up yet, I might as well use it all up. So we're going to take that paper, I'm going to set these over here for now, and we're going to do some cutting. So we'll prepare our pieces. You still have some marbled from last year. Yes, they did have some marbled from last year. I remember making a card that was like a 6-sided type of star that you can stand up on display, and I remember using that paper. Really, really pretty stuff. So I'm keeping my measurements on my computer because I need to refer to them. So if you see me looking away from the camera, it's just because I'm copying down the measurements. So we need a base colored cardstock. In that PDF or in the measurement list, you're going to see it just says colored cardstock. So I used Pretty in Pink. I used Fresh Freesia. And I also used Real Red for the different choices of cardstock for my cards. But again, whatever colors you see in the cardstock. Thank you, Trisha. Oh, you know what, Trisha? This is why I didn't see your name come up. Do you have the little symbol next to your name today? And peeking. I'm peeking. Oh, you do stand out today. Oh, there you are. So weird. Anyways, Trisha's here. Yay. Okay, back to what we were doing. So we're going to cut, and I have to pull my measurements back on my computer. We're going to cut the colored cardstock, and we're going to cut them to 4¼ inches wide for now. So we're going to go in this direction to cut our cardstock in half. This is our 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So half of 8.5 is 4¼ Now this piece we're going to focus on for a while, and we're going to cut that first to 2 3/4 twice. So we're making two pieces that together measure 5.5 inches. So this is the size that you would need for our medium size envelopes. This will be on the front panel of our card, and they're going to be like a little gate opening. So these two together make the same size as we're used to with our Stampin' Up cards. For the next piece, I'm going to cut 4 by 4¼ So I'm going to cut it, it's already 4¼ this way, so we're going to cut to 4 inches. Okay, so this piece, instead of being tall, it's going to be a little wider like that. That's going to sit on the inside of the card. This we can toss aside. Let's bring in this other piece and cut 2 more pieces from that. We want to cut 2 by 4 twice. So that together, 2 by 4 and 2 by 4 equals 4 by 4. So we're going to cut a 4 by 4 piece first. And this is how much cardstock you would have left over. So you use slightly over a half a sheet for this. So let's make this 4 by 4 first. And then we will take and cut this in half. So 2 by 4 and 2 by 4. These panels will also go on the inside of the card. Okay, we have those pieces done. Now let's go ahead and cut a couple gold foil sheets. For the gold foil sheets, they are slightly over, and so these will not work. Okay, I was checking to see if my scraps would work first. We're going to take a portion of our gold foil sheet. They come in 12 by 12 size, and we're going to cut them to 5¼ And this doesn't say this on the measurement sheet. I'm just giving you tips in the video here. 5¼ by 4 1/8. Did I do that right? Might not have done that right. Hang on a minute. 4 5/8. 4 5/8. Why did I write that? 4. That's not right. It's 2 5/8. Sorry, I'm going to have to correct that on the PDF before it goes out. I'm like, wait a minute here. So we're going to do 2 5/8 twice, which brings us to the 5¼ Okay, I was thinking right. So 5¼ by 4 1/8. See, this is where I shouldn't look at the PDF sheet, right? So we're going to start with a piece that's this size. We need to first cut it in half. So half of 5 1/4 is 2 5/8. So you're going to go to the 2.5 inch mark and then just go 2 little notches or 1/8 inch beyond that. Okay, this is going to cut that in half, and we're going to die cut from this because there's actually more pieces of gold or gold layers on our card, and we need to do some die cutting from this. From our designer paper, our Marbled Elegance, we are going to cut a piece that is 4 inches by 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We want a 9 by 4 piece. So, and you can cut it so that it's all together if you want to. So we will start with this piece, and we're going to cut 2 2.5 and 2.5, and we need 2 of those. 2.5, 2.5, and you can take and cut them from the same section for these two because they are going to be meeting up on the front of the card. And then the next sections are 1 1 1 and 1, and we can go ahead and do that using this side of the trimmer. So 1, another 1 inch. Try to keep these patterns together as you go because it'll make it a little bit easier for when you assemble your card. And 1. Okay, we got to go a little quicker, Rachel. Speed it up. Okay, I'm keeping all of those papers aside because we are going to work on a bag too. So let's grab this next. And I shouldn't have put my trimmer aside yet. Let's grab this next. This is the bag. We're going to keep it folded. We're going to cut it at 4 1/4 inches. This is not in the measurements on the PDF, by the way. This is only in the video. So we want it 4 1/4 inches in this direction with the closed part of the bag this way and the open part of the bag this way. 4 1/4 inches. And we're going to push. And we're going to go back and forth because we're going through multiple layers. Now we're not going to get it all the way through the bag. We're not going to get it through this part here, but we want to at least separate it from the base. This becomes scrap, or of course, you know, whatever. If you want to do something with that, you certainly can, because it's kind of like a little container now, right? If you wanted to do something with it, but I'm tossing it aside in my recycling. This here becomes a fun fold card. We need to cut it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to open it like this, and we're going to match up these two folds here. So there's a middle fold, there's a fold here, and there's a fold here, right? Now it doesn't matter if you're doing this side or this side, it doesn't matter because the seam is actually on the side of the bag. It's not in the front or the back. So you can pick either panel, this panel or this panel, doesn't matter. But I'm bringing these together. Then I'm going to connect these two folds, and I'm going to take and bend them together inside of each other so I can flatten this out and find the middle. So I'm just trying to find the middle of the front of one of those panels, and you do that by keeping those folds together and flattening this out. We don't want to flatten the back yet. So I'm not going like this to the whole thing. I'm only flattening out the front, and that's where we're going to cut. We're going to cut that down right in that spot. Now, the easiest way that I found to do this is just with the trimmer. We're going to lose a little bit of the front, but don't worry about it because we're going to cover it up. We have panels. So I'm going to go ahead and put this over the channel of my trimmer, this little dip here. This is where your blade goes down into. So we're going to cover that, and we're going to slice. Oops, and my blade is not sharp today. You always can discover when there's not a sharp blade because your cardstock or whatever will bunch up or whatever. Okay, so now when we close this, we have a small gap in the front. Totally fine. Again, we're going to cover that up. This is our base of our fun fold though. Look how this opens. Isn't that cool? Don't worry about the seam. We're going to cover that up too. So let's die cut next. We're going to take our gold layers and we're going to bring in our machine. And we have some Post-it notes to help us out too. And we're going to die cut a few hearts. And I say a few because I'm planning ahead. So I want to die cut this one and this one. And we'll first do that on one of the sheets. Okay, and you can angle it however you want so that you have a good edging of the gold foil still all the way around. And I've sandwiched it, the base plate, the die adapter plate, and then it's between the two cutting mats so that I have my complete sandwich. Now, one of them came out, the other one did not. You can go ahead and take and poke it if you'd like to with the tip of your scissors, or you take your pick tool or whatever. And now we have two hearts for our card. We're going to do another one of these from this side, sandwich it. Again, I have base plate number 1, die adapter number 2, scratchy cutting plate number 3. The scratchiest one I always keep on the bottom where the blades hit, and then my smoother one goes on top. And then over time, once that bottom plate gets really scratchy, you can like toss it away, and then you can get and change it out so that you have your new cutting plate on the top and your other one becomes your bottom plate. So here we have 3 hearts, 3 gold foil hearts ready to go. This one will get added to the bag. Okay, don't toss these. These are now layers ready to go on your card. So, when I didn't need my Post-it notes. I thought I did for some reason. I'm trying to remember why now. I have them listed in the ingredients or the materials, so maybe we do. We'll figure it out. I haven't made these for like a week. Okay, let's bring our card base in. We're gonna take our largest of our cardstock pieces. Remember the first ones we cut? And let me bring this over here so it's easier to see. The first ones that we cut, so we'll start by adding them, and you can add them with multi-purpose liquid glue, with seal, however you want to do it, but I would put the adhesive onto the front panel of your base. Oops, come on out. I haven't used this in a while. We'll take off the extra gluey gummy stuff on the top. Come on. I might have to get a new glue. We'll just use this one. This is the one I always use. Maybe it's just so cold by my window that my glue has frozen up in there. It doesn't want to move. It's winter here in Minnesota, like winter, where we get snow. So it's very cold next to my window. I'm going to lay this on top so that I see a slight little gap through the middle still, but not as much as I had before. And it's okay if it's not completely even, okay? As long as you're covering up a portion of that gap, and these edges here are lined up on the top and the bottom. This is parallel to the cut. See the cut there? So that's parallel. Now we just bond that. Then we take the next one and we put our glue down. And you guys can be a lot neater and cleaner with your glue. All right, then we lay that down. And I am putting these right next to each other now, keeping the top and bottom edges lined up with the base, the card base from our bag. You're not a fan of the multi-purpose liquid glue, Lisa? You know, yeah, because sometimes it oozes out, right? Goo goobers, glue goobers. That's what you called it, Tina. That's funny. Okay, next next we put on this layer here, and we'll just bring in the seal. You guys like seal better? Oops. Okay, none of my adhesive is working today. Come on out, seal. Sometimes you have to give it a little bit of coaxing. Okay, we want that to be on all the corners. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the middle. I don't know why I went around the heart. We don't have to do that. But all 4 corners, because it's going to get covered up. And we're going to lay that onto each panel here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Literally, you don't need to have it all over. I'm going to turn this upside down because it might freak some of you out, and that makes me giggle. This is going to get covered up. That's why I'm putting this upside down. Okay, so it's okay. However those go on is totally fine. But these, I want you to pay attention to because I want them to puzzle back together, right? So we're going to put adhesive on the back side. And at this point, I'm being a little generous, right? I just don't want this to peel up. I don't want them to see the cut that is below, the cut foil. So there's that, and then we'll do the same thing to this side. All right, and that gets lined up with the opposite piece like this. I'll just flip it upside down since I'm right-handed, and we'll add that like that. Turn our card back. It's coming together. The inside of our card, remember, is going to be wider than taller. This is 4 1/4 inches high. We don't want it that high. We want it wide, okay? You find that the silicone mat helps with the stamp and seal. Interesting, Nancy Clark. So bring that out. She says that the silicone mat, now I've heard of people taking and catching their seal on here to get it going? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about just putting the adhesive on with the mat underneath? I would love to know what you're talking about there. All right, we're gonna keep this out and we're gonna stamp on it. Let us stamp whatever we want, really. I'm gonna use Melon Mambo ink for this. I recommended the Cherry Cobbler and the Melon Mambo ink. We have quite a few stamps to choose from. I'm gonna choose Happy Valentine's Day since that is kind of the main focus of this suite, right? It's very Valentine-y. So we're gonna go ahead and mount that stamp. I've got it flipped upside down. You can see it's a little pink, and that's because it's a well-loved stamp. It's something that I've used already. If you don't want as much staining, because photopolymer or clear stamps, they do soak in, they're a porous type of rubber, they do soak in the ink, especially pinks and reds. You'll see those right away, purples. But you can take and ink these up in Versamark first, which is a clear ink. It'll soak in a little bit of that and kind of help give it a protected surface within the pores, and then your stamps don't get as pink, but they still get a little pink. We're going to stamp that again, making sure that it's more wide than tall, and we'll stamp that down with our Happy Valentine's Day. We've stamped it before we've added it to the inside panel, because if we make a mistake in the stamping and it's not even, we can take and flip it over, stamp on this side and stick it down that way. So we'll add that to the inside so that we have 1/8 of an inch all the way around on our card. Then these sides, we're gonna flatten it out, and it's about 14 inches wide, the whole card is. So you can't achieve this same fun fold look with our 12 by 12 paper, since this is much wider than 12 by 12 paper. So it's only a fun fold that you could create with our bags. If you have 14-inch wide paper, you could do this. But really, the whole idea is that grab up those bags, because they're going to make some really unique fun fold cards. So now we put these panels on, and these panels are just going to be the plain pretty and pink color, but you can take and stamp on them if you want to. If you wanted to add hearts to them, if you wanted to write, this is where your sentiments or your note could go. Maybe you have a nice long love note that you want to give to somebody in their Valentine's card. These two areas here are what will receive these designer papers. So I've kept them paired up, and just to be quick, you would want to put more adhesive than that, but just to be quick, we're going to take and add these panels. This one covers up that seam. The seam could appear on this side, or it could be over here, depending on how you cut originally. So let's add those in so that they look lined up, the flow of the design there. And then the other two, let's connect them again. Okay, they go like that. Again, you'd probably want your adhesive to be more accurate on these pieces, but we're going quicker because I'm seeing the time fly. I'm seeing the time fly. Okay, so those are going to go on here. And then the front of the card is where we're going to add the pretties. So we'll close that back up. We'll grab our hearts. We'll actually have some pretties for the inside too. For the front of the card, we're going to take and put this piece on with a dimensional, but this one on flat. This is where my Post-it notes come in, you guys. Okay, so grab your Post-it notes or your sticky notes. Take one of them, and you're going to lay it where you like it. Okay, how does it look best? So lay them down, pull away your smaller one, add your sticky edge on top of your gold foil heart. This is going to tell you, don't add adhesive over here, okay? But we can add it in any other area. So I'm adding my adhesive, and then I'm going to lay it back down in place. And if I need to, I can come back in with this and kind of overlap it. We're overlapping the center slightly. Do you see that? This is how they're going to kind of close together, okay? They overlap. Then this one's going to go on with a dimensional. So we're going to lay that where it looks good. And we're going to cover up again that, whoops, do it so that it's not going to come off. We'll cover it up. And this with a dimensional, you don't have to be too picky. Let's just lift it up because it's not sticking down. But yeah, you want to make sure that you don't get your dimensionals over too far. So we'll just kind of, on purpose, stick it over here. We'll lay that down like that. And that's how they kind of come together and stay closed. Then we'll add just a few little embellishments, and those are my hearts, which I think I stuck, oh, they're right here. I like to open my embellishment little sheets like this on the side, and this is the reason why. I have this fun container from the Country Hive to hold all of them in, and I think that this is like the best way to do it. So I don't know, it's very quick for me. So if I have all of my sheets opening up on this side, I can just take and thumb through, find the one I want, slide it like that, grab what I need, slide it back in and stick it into my bag. And it's so much quicker than opening from the back, sliding it out, you know what I mean? So anyways, just a little craft room tip for you if you want to use that. So let's pull this out and let's grab these hearts. We're going to take and take your pick tool, the little gummy end here. We'll twist it to get a little bit more gummy there. Okay, so the gummy end, and we're going to grab a larger heart and stick that on here. A small heart, and stick that right next to it. And then on the inside, we'll use one of the medium hearts. So there's 3 sizes in this pack, and that will just stick right there. That's our finished card. Really fun, right? There's so much gold and reflection in here that the scene it's kind of dark. Sorry about that. Oh, good, thanks. I'm glad you like that idea for the bling. Okay. Oh, so Beverly does have 14-inch paper, and she says it's a little bit thicker than the bag. This does allow you to, mail it with, I would use just a 1-ounce postage stamp on this. There's nothing sticking up too high. It's very flexible because it's thinner bag paper, right? Let's make a coordinating envelope real quick. We'll just shove that over here for now. Take our envelope. For the envelope, if you can start with a 6-inch wide piece of designer paper, that will help. So we're going to start with 6-inch and go to 2 1/4. I like this side better. That's the joy of patterned or designer paper, is you get to pick the side you like best, right? Okay, so there's that. For this, you can take and add your adhesive directly to your envelope flap or to this because you're going to be trimming it off. I'll just add it to this. So we're going to put it really close to the edge because I don't want this peeling up. In fact, maybe this is where the glue would come in handy, but we're going to put it all over it because we're going to be trimming it and we want every edge to stick down. So then from here, you're going to take and add it. Let's just put a little dark layer underneath here so we can see it lining up. So we want to line it up one edge to the top edge of the envelope like this. We'll stick it down and we'll keep it from sticking all the way down because we don't want those stickies to go along here or here, right? And then what you do is you just take your scissors or your paper snips, you keep it on this side so you can see the white edge separating from the designer paper, and you're just going to trim this all the way around. Now, when you trim, I like to take and turn my left hand, or the hand that I'm holding the paper with, and with my right hand, that's the one that I kind of keep in place. It doesn't move too much. It just kind of stays stationary, but my left hand is turning my paper. Now, if I wasn't on video here doing a live, I would be doing this a lot neater. You can kind of still see a little red there, but that is the idea. Okay, we've got a really pretty decorative flap to go with our card, and now we make the bag. For the bag, we're going to keep the small bag intact, but let's keep it flat for now. We're going to take our trimmer and cut a coordinating flat piece from our cardstock. So now we grab the leftover pieces that we had from that Pretty in Pink, and we're going to cut a piece that is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So We'll cut it this way like that first, by 5.5. And now this is what you have left after making both the card and the bag. So you've used up almost a whole sheet. For this piece, and it doesn't say this on the measurements, but you're gonna fold it. So you're gonna put a score line through it at 2 3/4. And this is going to become a folded flap on the top of the bag. So your bag is gonna close kind of like a purse where it pinches shut at the top. And the base of it stays wide, but the top becomes pinched together. So it's like a triangular prism. So we have that ready to go. And then we need the layers for it. And the layers can come from the designer paper. You want to have designer paper that is 3 1/4 inches wide. So let's grab some of that. 3 1/4 inches wide. And we want to have, for our Marbled Elegance, we're going to have 2 pieces that are 1 3/4. And another 1 3/4, so that would be 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Oh, I like this side better. 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. So we want them to be 3 1/4 inches wide, but only 1 3/4 inches tall. So we have 2 pieces ready. And then for our gold foil, we're going to cut, and I'll just use this one here. You want it to be 3 1/4 inches wide, and then you want to have 1/2 inch pieces. So 1, 2. And you could certainly do more if you want to do this to the inside also, but we're only gonna gold foil edge our outside layer for the sample. And we'll stick these all away. Okay, so how do we do this? This is going to get connected like so, and it's just deep enough to go right to that, just deep enough to go right to that fold line in the bag. So you're going to press it all the way down. We're going to adhere that, and you could use glue. In fact, I think I'll use the glue. Let me see if my other one works yet. Let me just give it a tap. No, something's clogging it. I was going to use this glue only because I wanted to show you the really, really cute holders for the glue. I need to fix this one. But the multi-purpose liquid glue, or the green glue, that some people call it green glue, but it's not really green. The Country Hive has these really, did I say that Stampin' Storage? The Country Hive has these really, really cute glue holders, and they've just come out with their latest one, which is a beautiful snowflake. So, had to show that off to you, but I'm really disappointed that my actual glue doesn't work. We'll fix that. So I would glue this because it's a bag and you want it to stay strong. Tuck that down into that fold and press it into place, making sure everything's lining up. Okay, next we're going to add, we should have probably stamped first. That's okay. Let's stamp. Let's stamp now that it's added. You want to stamp first though, right? I told you that in case you make a mistake. Because if we made a mistake, we could have flipped that cardstock the other direction, and that could have been the part that was glued into the backing of the bag. So there is our sentiment. And then we're going to also stamp on the front of that. So we're going to imagine our front layer, and it doesn't really matter which of these goes on the front layer here, but we're going to imagine it sitting here with a little bit of gold foil sticking out on either side. We're not gluing that down yet because we're going to put some magnets within. So I'm going to take another block and grab that stamp that has the XOXO, the little love. Hugs and kisses, that's what that stands for. Ink that up. Stamp it down in the lower corner. Okay, that's ready. Now let's focus on magnets. So either one of these, because they're not going to be side by side, it doesn't matter which one you put on the inside, but that is going to cover up your first magnet. So your first magnet is going to, and I think that's how I did it. Let me just think for just a second here, you guys. Yeah, I think I did it that way. because it's not on the inside. Okay, so magnets. Where do you get the magnets, Rachel? I bought them on Amazon, and I have a link for those too, but they're 5mm by 1mm tall. So they're wide by 1/2 centimeter, and they're tall by 1/10 centimeter. And you can see we have very, very tiny, tiny magnets ready to go. Don't put them too close together or they're going to snap together and connect, and you'll have to slide them to get them apart. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add our designer paper in place here, about 1/2 inch or a centimeter from the top of the white here. And we want to cover up a magnet that's going to be placed right about here. So we're going to take a glue dot. Glue dots, here they are. We're going to take a glue dot, and we're going to open it up, and we're going to stick one of our magnets on there. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to help me out. Oops. Stick that right down onto the glue dot. Then we're going to peel this up. We've got the magnet on, the glue dot on there and everything, and we're going to stick that right down in the middle. Okay, and if it's not in the perfect middle, that's totally fine, because both magnets are going to disappear. You're not going to see them, but we want to have it somewhat in the middle, about 1 inch, maybe even 1 inch, and it could even be lower. It could be like 1.5 inches down, but somewhere in that spot. Now we're going to cover that up with our designer paper. So you could glue, you could take and put seal, however you want to do it. But I'm going to do it all the way around on all 4 edges. And don't know why, but I like it over there. So we're going to stick that down now, like that. And our magnet is within. It's underneath all of that. We're going to close this, and we're going to let this magnet here go. Okay, it's connecting in place. If I put it here, it's still going to move up there. That is, it has found its partner. Okay, so we need to put our other glue dot in that spot. So we're going to take the pokey end of our tool, and we're going to lift up that glue dot. Just slide it off to the side slightly, stick our glue dot down, and let it go and stick on top of the glue dot. Okay, so now we have that in place, and we can cover that up. To cover that up, we're going to make a little bit fancier layer here. So I'm going to put our seal adhesive on both sides of this layer. And this is why we have grid paper, in case we make a little mistake, we don't get all that glue on our table. We're going to connect our designer paper or pattern paper layer so that we see just a little hint of gold there on the top and the bottom. And now we'll flip it over again, and we'll add, let's see if that little trick here, this is what I heard a long time ago. Yeah, if you run it, it kind of pulls it and gets it started, right? Let's see. Oh, it worked. Look at that. Yay! We all learn from each other. The crafting community is so much fun. Now again, these Valentines take a while, so I definitely probably wouldn't do them if I was a mom of kids and sending Valentines off to school. But if you have coworkers or you have family and friends or whatever that you want to gift these to, you can give a sweet little Valentine that you took and put a little bit more effort into than just buying the ones on the shelves at the grocery store. Okay, after that is on, then we're going to add our heart, and we can add our heart with dimensionals. 1, 2, 3, just to make sure it's really stuck in place. And, oops, I put it on the sticky spot. And then we'll just lay that right here in the center. Embellishments, let's bring those back in and grab our Take Your Pick tool, the gummy end, which is a lot gummier than, here, I'm gonna pull this off and then I'm gonna make it come out because I want to clean a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna grab our hearts, and we're taking and adding them to the inside because the outside has lots of gold already. So on the inside, I'm gonna place a medium. Actually, I'll just use this one up because it's the last one on this strip. So we have a medium and a small, and then we'll take our larger one. So again, we're using one of each, so they will get equally used up if we do it that way. Okay, so that is our bag. And I do want to recommend putting that magnet a little bit lower because I can tell that it might not cling. Okay, so you put your treats in there, and you want to have treats that will only fill up maybe the bottom portion. If you fill it all the way up to the top, this won't close because it has to be pinched shut. So you see that? That's how it's going to have to close. Oh, it does still close. Yay. All right. So let's close this up first. I'm going to bring in the ones we just did and 3 other sets, the ones that you saw in the photographs on my PDF sheet. Okay, tossing everything aside. So here's one set. We have our card, which fits into our envelope with the pretty flap. We have our candy. They all coordinate. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see all of these. Lots of fun different ones. We have another set of pink ones, and those were done. Oh, you know what? Okay, I have another thing to change on the PDF because I used Bubble Bath. It wasn't pretty in pink. I used Bubble Bath. There's Bubble Bath. Rachel. I just want to show so much that sometimes I miss out on, little tiny details. Sorry. Okay, let's flatten this one down so you can see it better. So there's one set. Here's another set. I was supposed to use Bubble Bath. You can see there's a difference between the pinks, but this is a warmer pink. It still looks good. This one, same thing on the inside. This one, same thing on the inside. The envelope, though, I only had a few little pieces left, so I put a couple strips on to decorate the flap. So it doesn't have to necessarily be exactly the same way that I just shared, right? You can make all of your stuff a little bit different. Okay, the next set I did with Fresh Freesia. So this is Fresh Freesia for the card base, the cardstock base. My Heart Belongs to You. And then the little baggie says XOXO, love you. So that could be given at any time of year. And then the last set I have, and this might surprise you, but I used Real Red for the base, which might seem kind of dark for stamping onto, but check this out. So here's my card. Be Mine, you can still read it. It's because I used cherry cobbler ink. You could even use like basic black if you really want it to be bold, but I used cherry cobbler ink on that one. Here's the envelope flap. XOXO, Happy Valentine's Day. So lots of different ones. Really fun, right? Yay! And we did that all with the bags. The bags is what started it. Again, we have a blog hop that's happening today, and that's going to start at 3 p.m. Central Time, which is in about 3 hours. So I have time to correct my PDF. So I'm so glad that you like these ideas. The Fresh Freesia one is your favorite, Elaine? Okay. Oh, I love it. You guys are voting. Kim likes the Bubble Bath better. All right. Awesome. And you like the idea of using the scraps on the envelope flap. I wanted it to be fancy, and I'm like, shoot, I don't have a full piece left. But it works. We have a lot going on. As of yesterday, Stampin' Up! Announced a whole bunch of goodness, okay? First, we have the holidays, right? And everything's lull and quiet and, subdued. And then, boom, January 7th hits. Yesterday hits, and we have all kinds of new stuff. So let me share with you that new stuff. I'm going to take you to my website here. We're going to start with, actually I have to create a new one, I think. Yep, incognito window, because it looks better if I show it to you in an incognito rather than, anyways. All right, so we are going over to stampyourartout.com. This is my website again. When you're here, you can scroll and click on my blog to get to a blog post. The latest blog post, which just happened yesterday, talks about all the newness. We have a new mini catalog. We have a promotion called Celebration happening right now. All of this on this post gives you links to everything, so you can click here to get to the online store to see the catalog items. You can click here to get to the PDF. Celebration I talk about next, where you can earn things by purchasing $60 more worth of product, so you can shop and earn. There's even a video that shares, this is put out by Stampin' Up. This video shares all the fun goodies that you can get. I believe that there's 12 level 1, which are free at the $60 US level. And then there's 2 that are at the level 2. So you spend $120 or twice as much to get to that second level. It talks about the rewards of joining. When you get the starter kit, it's a whole special different kind of order. It allows you to do what I do or to sell product if you want to, but a majority of people who get the starter kit are in it for the discount, to be discount shoppers. Sometimes they call them hobbyists, but basically if you are enjoying crafting and you want to get this stuff at a discount, get the starter kit. It's like a no-brainer to me. But sometimes, you know, you need a little convincing, but it's easy and fun, and basically you just get to discount shop all you want. Anyways, there's a starter kit offer where during celebration or from now through the end of February, you can get, and you can play this video to see it all, but you can get 2 packs, families of markers, plus a stamp set. And that stamp set is in my midst. Oh, here it is. That stamp set is the handmade design stamp set. And then with your markers, you can take and stamp and color, or you can choose an extra 30 in product. Okay, so then we're gonna keep scrolling here. Demonstrators also get perks. So once you become a demonstrator, or if you are a demonstrator, just know that there's perks, all right? Keep track of your sales and anybody that you might help, you know, get the starter kit in. Here's the scrapbooking brochure. So not only do we have new products in the mini catalog, new products you can earn from the celebration brochure, but we have scrapbooking products that have been added in. Now this brochure here is not one that's actually in publication. It's just an online brochure, but you can certainly click on the links in this area and view the brochure. There's also a way to see all of this on the online store, and I'm going to show you that soon. We also have more online only products besides the scrapbooking and besides the 3 new kits that just got added. We have the Thank You Kindly kit. We have the brightest birthday kit. And we have a coordinating one to that called the Birthday Bash. Now let's click over to Shop Online. We're going to open up the online store, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to see that stuff here. First of all, you're going to see this little banner that switches and moves across and talks about different promotions. But if you go to these little menu choices up here, the specials, you can see celebration choices. You can see last chance products, items that are leaving. Now let's go to the what's new. You can see the mini catalog items all in one section. You can see the scrapbooking brochure all in one section. Then if you go to the menu and click on shop products, you can go to the kits collection and see the new kits, or you can go to the online exclusives. So that's how you kind of navigate the online store to see all the newness, because there's a lot of it. That's why I invite you to visit my blog, because the links will take you directly to where you want to see everything. The celebration brochure looks like this. If you do not have a copy of this and the mini catalog, and you don't have a demonstrator and you're in the US, you can request a catalog by going under my shop menu from my website and choose catalogs, and there's a link within there where you can request a catalog, okay? If you are a demonstrator, you should have copies in your hands. Reach out to Stampin' Up if you haven't gotten your copies yet. Okay, what else do I want to tell you about? There's so much newness, sorry about that. We do lives often. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank my moderators, Trisha and Lisa, for being here to help answer questions. And a huge thanks to my channel members. My next channel member only video, which are for my supporting members, is January 25th. So keep that in mind. But I also have other lives coming up. And my lives that are coming up are this Friday, January 10th at 10 a.m. I am going to do another paper crafting class, only with the paper pumpkin kit that we've had for December. That is the last day before the next kit starts shipping out to Paper Pumpkin subscribers. I've been a fan of Paper Pumpkin kits since the beginning. And so I have another set of alternates to share with you that day. That is at 10 a.m. And then next Wednesday at 11 a.m., another class. The following Wednesday, another class. And then we get into January 25th, which I just told you about. That's for members only. That is at 10 a.m. Yeah, so just keep following me. Subscribe to my blog, my YouTube channel, so that you can get notifications. If you're on Facebook, you can subscribe or follow my posts. And there's an events section where you can find out when I do lives. But the lives, the paper crafting classes are all free online like this. So nobody has to worry about getting charged. Just come, share with your friends. I hope that you come to the next one and the next one, and the next one, because I love teaching, I love sharing, and I have so much fun doing this. Thank you everybody for joining in on this. I hope to see you in a couple days on my next one. And in the meantime, I think that's it. I think because we have our moderators here, I'm not going to worry about asking for anybody to share any questions, because I think we've covered them all, hopefully. You guys all take care and stay safe and stay healthy, okay? Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.